and joined a group of about 12 to 13 female agents from Market Free. And we just had an amazing time. So I know a few of them are on here today. So in our conversation of just how to grow your agency and treating your business like a business and all of that, like I said, we had great conversation. And one of the things that came up was on using V files and how do you create lists, where do you find them, and all of that. And I had mentioned, hey, I have a report training that I'm doing, for our Southern Oregon, our Cascades district. And so I invited some of these gals on here so I could see some new faces. For new names on the screen here, that's pretty much who that is. And welcome to all of you that are joining us. This is my team, my amazing team. And I love doing stuff like this, like just really, as I do in my coaching sessions, what your needs are, how I can come upside you, and really just training on teaching you how to access these reports and where to find those. And again, if you're not doing it all the time, it's just you need the repetition, because if you're not in there doing it on a consistent basis, then you're like, wait a minute, where did she say to find that? And some of these places can be confusing because maybe they've changed since the last time you access those. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started by sharing my screen. Oops, I think I just shared the wrong one. Go back to this one. And yes, okay. Somebody confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's Jimmy. Okay. All right, so we're going to start here on a Navigator, and this is where I'm going to start with leads and activities. All right, you can access it right here, or you can do the drop down here and go into leads and activities. Pretty soon, we won't have this anymore. We're going to have Salesforce, but this is for right now, doing the list. This is where you can create a whole list of options when you're looking at who do I want. This is in your book of business. Who do you want to find for? What type of list do you want to create? What is your audience that you're looking to contact? And so this is where you can create a few of those. So if you go into leads and activities and you go into outreach activities, let's see, who am I going to use today? Cora, do you mind if I use yours? Good morning. All right. So this is where I'm just, obviously yours, you will come up on your own, but because I have, a whole list of people that I have to pick one. So I'm picking Cora, and we're going to go in here and we're going to add an activity. And it really, if you just want to create the list, it really doesn't matter what you choose here. So I'm actually you get your most out of the call or direct mail, because if you do call, that means somebody has to have a phone number. So I would assume that most of your clients have at least a phone number attached to it. If you just do email, it's just going to pull those that only have email. So you might have some stragglers in your book of business that do not have email, and so it wouldn't pull those. But if we just did a call activity, you're going to choose a group topic. All right, so this is what comes up here. You're going to go right here and you're going to choose the group topic. So let's just say you wanted to create, you're looking for, hey, I want to do a monoline household, or let's just do life cross sell. All right, so I want to cross sell in my book of business all those that do not have life insurance. I'm not sure if that's life. I think that's what that is. Here I am creating this, and I got to make sure. All right, so we're going to put 1 to 8. 1 is the beginning age, 80s, and you can put whatever age. I just do that because it comes to my mind. Not that you're going to try and sell life insurance to an 80-year-old, but it just gives you that large range as well. So it's going to load here. It's going to think through this list, and the most important pieces of this is not the data that it's creating right now, but it's really what steps. I hope what you're learning and what you take away is what steps do I need to follow in order to create a list like this, right? So here's what comes up. All right, so the first thing we see is 325 contacts are in this list that we created, this live cross-sell list. All right, so the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to review the list. I just kind of want to see what it looks like, and who the 325 people are. So it automatically defaults to clicking all of them, like the checkboxes if you were wanting to download all of this list. Now, as you go through some of these, there might be some reasons why you wouldn't want to have or reach out to somebody or have them on your list. And if you know ahead of time who some of these people are, and you're like, nah, I don't want to call down, or, you know, for whatever reason, you can uncheck them. And that way they won't be downloaded onto the next Excel spreadsheet. But most people just go ahead and let me go ahead and download the whole thing. So we created this list, that's what comes up, and we can confirm the selection right there. Sometimes this has said 0, so you want to make sure you might have to click and then click it again to make sure this shows right here. And then you want to export it to Excel. I feel like there's any questions in the chat, let me know, like, cause I can't see that.
Yep, will do. I'm monitoring it.
Okay. All right, so now we have this that was created. So this got created on my other screen. I just moved it over. And so here you have this whole spreadsheet. And you can go in and, okay, maybe I don't need to know that they're a client. Like I already know that. So you can get rid of some of these columns so then you have a cleaner version if you want to, like if you just want to clean it up based on your own preferences, right? So you can do that. You can get rid of some of these columns. But one of the great things about using this list from leads and activities, one of the best things is that you have a link directly into their folder. So if you click this, it's going to open up in Navigator right to their folder, which is really good. There you go. Then you can verify information here. So basically this list, if you go in life cross-sell, it is all your households that do not have life insurance, right? And that's verified right here, where because this is a whole household, Cora. Look at this. There you go. That's Diners. No life insurance, but look, she has lots of rental dwellings and homes and autos and all of that. So it's a great person to call for a possible cross-sell into life insurance. So it does that, so I can get rid of that. There we go. All right, let's do that. All right, so back to the list here. So this is where this is, you can do whatever you want with this. Like you can save it, you can name it, you can, you know, this is one that you can send to the file. However it is that you get them that list, then this is an option in that. All right, let me go back. These activities here. All right, so we exported it to Excel. And now we're done with it. So I'm just going to hit cancel here. It kind of goes right back to that previous screen that we were on. That still tells us 325 contacts, but we've already downloaded it, so we really don't need to do anything else with this. But if I go back and I want to, let me create another list. All right, so what else do we have in here that we can list or that we can create? You can do an all households with email. Like if you wanted to do a specific email campaign, let's just look at that. All right. If we did an all households condensed with email, so it's going to pull anybody just with in your book of business just with an email address. Then you can say, hey, do I want just clients? All right. If I check that, this is going to pull all of Cora's clients that have an email and put it on a spreadsheet just like we just saw. All right. What if you wanted to create an X client list? All right. So for some of us, especially in Oregon and previously for me in Colorado, like we kind of have some clients swapping off in the past year or two, right? And if you're like, hey, I want to create a list where I can go back and I can call them to see if I can earn their business back. All right, so let's pull all the households condensed with an email. You can do ex-client, you can even do prospect if you want, if you still have people you weren't able to bring over as a client, and they're still categorized as a prospect in the system, you could also pull that list as well. All right, well, and in fact, let's just do that, because there's some good options on the email, that would allow us to, send them a good, like just an email, like a free, it's free, right? You can, this is where you can create what we would call a drip campaign to those prospects. So let's just say you wanted to do a 7-point touch, 7 touches, and you wanted to kind of create that drip campaign to all of your prospects that you weren't able to bring over. So Cora has 263 contacts in this prospect list, all right, with emails. Okay, so you could go in and review the list. If you wanted to, like I had, told you before, you can unmark those that you really don't. No, I really don't want them. They're still a prospect, but I really don't want them as a client. So you could not send that to them. But this is a way for you to create a drip campaign to these prospects. And let's just pull a topic. Let's do, I don't know, do life insurance. All right, so it's income. For those of you that don't know, I would assume, just to common sense, this should say life, but it says income, right? Because it's life insurance provides income to the person. So let's do a term life subtopic. All right, I did a call, but this would really, it would be, you would do an email activity originally, because then they would you want to send it. Okay. So let's do that. Well, just because, sorry, this is where if I want to show you how to create that drip campaign with this. So we're going to do this again. But I'm going to do with email. All right. I forgot that I did that one. But we really don't need to generate the list, but I did click that. So we're going to sit here and wait.
And I just wanted to call out that if your assistants are pulling these lists, they just want to make sure that they are acting as you, because I think they might have their own profile. Like Christine had all of her reps. They just want to make sure that they are selecting the rep, because if they don't change that, I think they just come up with nothing. And you can use these lists for all kinds of different things. There's so many different email campaigns and opportunities in here. And you as the rep, if you want your assistants just to focus on a certain topic, you could even download that Excel sheet for them and say, hey, here, I want you to work this list for these life opportunities, blah, blah, blah. It is really helpful.
Yeah. So we're running, I don't know why there was no prospects with that, but Cora has 347 clients with emails. So you can go in and review the list once again, but let's go ahead and enter the income topic, subtopic, the term life, and then you can see the templates of, okay, I don't know why that's not showing. Let's do general. There we go. All right, so income, life general, let's just do a life cross-sell email. It's their current clients. It would ask when you want to send it, but I just want to show you like what that would look like. So you just click the preview, and then you can see really what does this email look like. So more potential savings, less worry, schedule an appointment. And it tells the advantage of permanent. I love this, Force 2024 best insurance company, and it will have all of your rep information on here. It was really big on my screen, but that's what the email will look like right there. All right, just wanted to show you that. So again, a drip campaign would look like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be, I mentioned 7 touches, like it can be 3 touches. It can be whatever you designate that process to look like. But this is I mean, if you spent, even as an assistant, like you spent 30 minutes creating a 3-touch point list, and then just go ahead and set them, because you could go in here in the send date, you can put it, like let's say for the month of October, every single week, so that's a 4-touch point. You want to send a certain listing of clients, 4 different emails on a certain subject, or you're just looking at, hey, I just want to get in front of them, right? Just touch points in front of them. And so you pick 4 different emails and you set that one time, and then it's gonna send on those certain dates that you put that in. All right, so that is a really good touch point just to stay in front of the client. And then maybe you say, okay, so I did some soft intro to them for every single week for the month of October, and now I'm gonna call them. Now I'm gonna follow up. So just doing that, if you just do that, just to get in front of them, what are the chances of them picking up the phone and calling you? Not as high as if you reached out and called them, right? So they may say, you reach out and say, hey, I don't know if you've seen, but I've been sending you a few emails just to, hey, it's me, remember me, that type of thing. I don't know what you want to say, but if the effort is that you got to it's not just the drip campaign, but it's also what's the activity supporting that. So it's like advertising, right? You just want to get in front of them, but what is the activity you're going to take? And maybe that's when you send the file with that list and said, okay, I've created a drip campaign for them. Now I want to follow it up with action, with activity. All right. Okay, so those are just a couple of examples of, again, outreach activities. Add an activity. It can be call, email, direct mail as far as a listing, and then you can go in there and set those activities through LinkedIn activities. All right, so that's one platform that we use in order to create those listings. And there was a lot of them in there. You saw as I scrolled down, like there's all sorts of different lists that you can create. There's also in these activities, there's a reports area. And there's like you can look and see previous leads, like if you did events, some different leads by type and source for you as a representative. There's some other reports that you can print off here as well. New prospects, anybody who doesn't have any scheduled activities. How many referrals by your centers of influence do you have? That's a great report to run. If as you enter prospects, you're putting them connected to a certain center of influence. Maybe at the end of the year, you do a center of influence of the year, and you promote maybe on social media or something like that, or you give them a plaque. Hey, you're my best COI for the whole year, and this is where you could run that report. Literally just off the top of my head with that, but also scheduled and sent email, like how many have I scheduled or sent to certain clients, and so it would bring up that report. But this is just another tab to go in and create those lists that you can use in order to run certain aspects of your business. All right, any questions on leads and activities or anything that comes up that you're like, can you unpack that a little bit more? You guys good? Kelly, anything on your end to add to that?
No, it looks like Anna Davis has a question, and Jimmy was asking if those lists could be edited, and I said no, that you can add, notes in Navigator, but then Chris mentioned B files, the call list, so I dropped the B files SharePoint site as well as the step-by-step how to pull that data that they need. So those resources are in there as well. And then Anna, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for having this. My question is, when you have, say, a drip campaign and you set it for whatever the future dates are, do you know if it will pull the list that day so that other prospects that are added in between the time that you set it and the time that it goes out will also be added? Or is that something you have to go back and add them?
Yeah, you would have to go back and add them. Only because it's pulling that, how we check those boxes, and then only those that are confirmed on that tab will actually be sent when you set that activity. So if there's anyone in between, you're going to have to go in there and send that to them separately.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's move on to our reporting. All right, so I don't know how many of you get into, and let's just go in, I'm gonna go in from a source that all of us know where to find this, right? So let's go from the very beginning. If we're in agency news and we want to get to enterprise reporting hub where all of those reports are housed. I know, from our conversation last week with some of the gals, it was like, that seems, and sometimes that's overwhelming because I don't know, like as an agent, like what reports should I be paying attention to? Which ones are important to me? And so let's just kind of go from, I'm gonna assume you don't know where to find this. So then you can follow where I get to this enterprise reporting hub. Of course, you can see on here, I have it saved as a favorite. I have a ton of favorites in here. All of these, because that's my method of thinking, and that's good for me, but you have to make it easy for you, right? And so country always says, go to agency news, go to agency resources. So I'm just right up here on agency resources. And then look at all of the different resources that you can get to from this tab. Right, so I'm going to go over here under production and enterprise reporting hub. It's right here. So we're going to click that, and of course we have, if you're an agent, these are different ways to access these reports. All right, you can do it by business line. You can also do key category. You can also save some of these as favorites, so then you have your own. Create and customize your report collection. It's kind of like right here. Different ways to browse. So depending on what you're looking for, all right, this is where you would do it. So let's just bring up a daily. I'm under rep. So you as a rep, what would you want to look at on a daily basis? And so let's just look up what's in office. What are some options for you? All right. So this actually comes up on a daily basis. You can look at policy tracker landing page, your legacy property listing, all sorts of reports here. All right. One that I'm going to highlight, there's like three I'm going to highlight, right? You have your, I know here in Southern Oregon, farm book of business, great accessibility right here for that. A commercial book of business as well. I mean, from an agency standpoint, I use the daily new business issued and effective all the time. That just from a leader standpoint, knowing how many auto and farm and home policies that we have produced to the team, I can see that. You can see that for yourself on your own agency. But I'm going to highlight this live book of business right here. So I'm going to click that. All right, I'm going to click here to see that report. So now we're going into a totally different platform, and this is our Tableau platform. I'm going to talk as if none of you are familiar with it, right? Because there might be people on the call that are like, I don't even know how to get to Tableau, which let's just assume that. All right. So this is where you get to, through Enterprise Reporting Hub, this is the platform that all of these reports are under. It's called Tableau. All right. So it looks like this. Okay. And so right now, this is all of my Southern Oregon. So this is from my standpoint, what I'm looking at is my life and health book of business. And if I wanted to bring up, I'm going to just stick with Cora. You're okay with that, Cora? Because this is how you would see it if it opened up under your view, right? So what it opens up to specifically, because I'm just going to go from a standpoint of, hey, we're trying to cross-sell life insurance, all right? That's the main theme of today. So a lot of these reports that I'm going to bring up have to do with running some of these life lists, all right? So right now, what it opens up to, and you see all of these green stars on the right-hand side. So this is like the red zone report, all right? So that's, hey, this is 14 months before the term policy runs out, and then 14 months after. That's kind of what we call our red zone. And so here's all these, this is a term expiry opportunity report right now for Cora's book of business, all right? So, I mean, gosh, there's, I don't know, 20 maybe that are some opportunities and based on different criteria. So you could look at this, what this tells you is, I mean, it tells you all sorts of, here's the annualized premium, here's the base amount, here's what they were, the rate class that they have, here's the plan of insurance, here's when it was effective. So here's, I mean, 1994, this person is obviously a 10-year term, is in that they're just renewing every year or every 10 years, depending on what the contract was. And are we able to, I don't know, sell them another policy? It's just these are ones that have expired or are close to being expired. All right, so like this one, 12/20, 10-year renewable and convertible, 2026. All right, so this one, yeah, let's kind of look at this one. But anyway, you would go through here, you would know your clients. But one thing I want to point out, and then I'll get to how you download this. All right. So if we wanted to red zone opportunity, but hey, I want to look at like all my term policies because I want to maybe use this as like a conversion list that I can kind of modify myself. So you're going to go in here and want to look at all policies, line of business, term life. Let's apply that. And so then it's going to change here. It's going to change with that. So Cora has 161 active term policies in our whole book of business. All right, some of them are in, well, it does have the green because that's applied to what I put in here. And then you can go through and you can see what are opportunities to have conversations with some of these people. It could be a conversion, right? It also could be age-based. So if I wanted to keep this up here and really look at a certain age group, because I don't know, 51 to 60, these are the ones that will no longer apply or no longer qualify for a certain term product because they're going to age out like a 30-year term or a 20 or whatever that is. I can't off the top of my head. Remember what those age ranges are, but when I put this in, so I want just term policies that the insured is between the age of 51 and 60. Maybe they need more insurance. Maybe you're going to have just that. It's just that, hey, we need to do a review because you're going to age out of a certain opportunity that you qualify for now, but you haven't taken advantage of. So that's why I'm calling. So she has 45 of those. And so you can modify these lists however, like whatever your target is. All right, that gives you all sorts of information. So your next question might be, well, how do I download this list? All right, so here's the steps to download a Tableau report. And you do this for all Tableaus, all reporting that you're in. It's up here. It's the little square with the down arrow. And so you're going to choose a format to download. You're going to hit cross tab. And then you're going to kind of look here because you can see this on here. You're going to say, okay, I don't just want the link when you download it. You actually want the product details. All right, it's going to format in Excel. And then you're going to download it. So let's see what this looks like. There you go. All right, again, you can delete some of these columns that you need. You can expand it out. So it can look however you want it to look so you can see all the information. But again, on this one with Tableau, the difference between this and things and activities, it does not have a link to their household. All right, so that's kind of the difference between the two platforms. You can also, on here, you can say, okay, I'm gonna filter based on age. So I like this, I go over here, sort filter, I'm gonna add a filter to it. And all of a sudden, all of them have a filter. And then I can say, okay, let's sort. Oh, of course, I'm going to say the size. So I should have done that before I changed some of the size of the columns. But anyway, you can do that if you did it correctly before you change the size of those. And you can go in there and it'll filter based on from A to Z. So that means from youngest to oldest. It will sort that out for you. All right. Any questions on downloading from that report at all. You guys good on that? All right, let's look at one other thing that this, the life book of business gives you. I mean, obviously you can all sorts, it gets very specific based on what you're looking for. So you can do it by rate class, you can do it by age. I mean, all of that. So it's, for those of you who have not used this, it's a great source of information about your whole life book of business. All right. I do want to point out this tab up here, the beneficiary. Okay, so this is gold. This is like gold. All right. There is no, I think no other approach. Like if anyone were to ask me, what's my safest approach with clients to grab their attention and verify information, and it's this beneficiary list right here. Because right now, this is all of my whole agency, right? So there's like a lot of beneficiaries in here, but you would want to go through like Allison and call Stacy Hauser and say, hey, let's have if I haven't had a review with you, like we want to confirm, are you still married to Neil Hauser? And, you know, because I know the state of Oregon, gosh, if this is not exact, if that person passes away, we are beholden, contractually obligated to send the life insurance to whoever is the beneficiary listed on the contract. All right, so I'm sure it's like that in a lot of other states, but I know here in Oregon, like it is specific. Okay, so we do our clients a favor by keeping on top of this for them. And it's a reach out to try and get a hold of somebody and make contact and have them come in. Hey, let's review this. Like we haven't, I know I want to verify beneficiaries, but let's do a review because I haven't met with you for a while. Let's make sure that we're still good with your financial plan, you know. But the reach out, the reason to reach out because of a verification of a beneficiary is so easy. It really is. There's no obstacle in front of that, honestly. I mean, because you're doing them a favor. You want to make sure, hey, this might be a piece that got overlooked if there was any changes with a beneficiary in your current life policy. So that's where you run that list. All right, it'd be the same thing. So if I was going to get specific, let's just say I'm just going to pull up Allison on the very first one. So if we did that, and you would just go in here, again, download, and do the same thing I did before. So you download that to an Excel spreadsheet, or you could just run it off this, you know, if you wanted to do that. It's totally up to you, but that's how you do that. So there's lots of good information in here. Again, here's by client what they have. So you could export this onto an Excel as well. So check this out if you have not done this. And I think these are specific. Some of these, for those of you who are in market free, I think you have the MSL Life product. And so that would apply to you. There are some on ours that apply to us as well in Oregon. All right, Life Book of Business. We did that, but so let me go back to the Enterprise Reporting Hub. All right, and I want to show you one other way to search, because there's times where I'm in here and I'm like, even though I know it's an investment, a report, I can't find it. Like it's not coming up. So one of the best things to do is just search. All right, so there's one that I never can find, but so I just start typing in mortgage. All right, so I love this report, and I know my team has heard me talk about it before. I think last week I talked about it, but it really is households with mortgage, but no life insurance with us. All right, so it's a golden. It's with the approach of mortgage protection. I mean, or whatever you want to call it. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic list. All right, so if I did a household list of this one. Let's see what comes up. It takes a minute. I think this one's pulling. Yeah, my whole list here. But here's what this would look like. All right, so for you, it would pull up your household list. So it would pull up all of your clients that you have a home product with. If there's a lien holder, there's a mortgage within that policy. but there's no life in the household. All right, so that's what it's pulling up here. And then you would go and download and just download that to Excel or however you wanted to run that. But this is where you would access that. So a great, easy approach with mortgage protection and really just having a conversation. Hey, I know you have a mortgage on your home and you don't have life insurance with us. You don't have life insurance with me. You might have life insurance elsewhere, but have you ever created a life insurance plan? Like, let's sit down and do that and make sure that you have enough, based on how you want to use life insurance. So, all right. What else? What else am I missing? Kelly, anything, input on your end? How about we just, I'm gonna stop sharing here for a minute. Let's go back. What other questions do you guys have? Is there anything, I know Kelly had a little bit, to add on as we were talking earlier.
Did you want to show them the commission's report on Enterprise Reporting Hub?
Why don't you show that? I know that as an agent, you should be using that. I haven't gone into that a whole lot.
I don't know if
That would be very helpful.
I don't know if I have access anymore. I used to. Hold on. Oh.
Hey, while you ladies are trying to figure this out, I had a quick question. This is Eric.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know for any of the emails that go out the drip system, is there a way to see if people actually open the email? Because I know you can on the financial side.
Not that I know of, Eric. Like I don't think there's anything on just within the least activities to see that they actually open that. Not that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, I can.
That'd be great. That would be great if we could.
Just know on the financial, I think we were sending out emails with quarterly reports or something like that, and we would get a report back seeing who actually opened the email.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great. Then you could prioritize who you contact, right?
Exactly.
Because you would know that they said it.
Yep. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Kelly, do you have access?
I do. I don't want to share. Okay. I don't want to share too much. So, trying to do this. See if I can take a screenshot.
And really, so that report, how can you use that premium commission report?
Well, I live in it every day,
Okay.
but I highly doubt that. I hope.
Yeah, it's not. No, it's not. And some of these reports aren't, but you know, I did want to kind of go through and
Yeah,
kind of.
what would be cool if there would be an option, say, okay, this associate has access, that associate has access, kind of thing, if you're basing commission off of. Now, these kind of reports.
And there used to be a form that the agent could fill out to give associates access to particular information. But I think across the board, certain reports are rep only, because, you know, home office didn't want to have something shared with assistants that maybe the reps didn't want them to see. But so I think that at some point there was a form that you guys could fill out if you were okay with giving them access to, you know, some confidential stuff. I don't know if that form exists anymore. I'll have to do some research on that one. Trying to, let's see. Okay, let me share.
Okay, I know Kelly she was gonna go through to some of the forms tracker stuff or.
Yeah, so this is the premium commission report. You can see your PC premium commission. I took a screenshot of somebody's, but it breaks it all down here by, you know, your new business and then these different buckets. It's really kind of helpful for you guys to kind of see, you know, your monthly activity. You can sort by multiple months. And then that was just one of them, and then I did want to show the forms tracker. So in Passport, if my computer will work. Maybe.
And on that, let's just, while you're doing that, on the premium commission piece. I believe it also shows like if you're in a certain month, like what is renewing that month that we haven't come on that date yet. So you can kind of project, right? Agents, correct me if I'm wrong, you can project like what's renewing kind of, it gives you a good guideline on the renewals, what you can expect, premium wise. And commissions.
And then so here in Passport, if you click on this Forms tab, you can get to the Forms directory and the Forms tracker. So if you're looking for a specific form, you know, maybe you're looking for the background check form, you know, because you're hiring a new assistant, all of that is on, you know, the SharePoint site. But this is just, you can browse here by category. There's a bunch of stuff here, and within this, there's this e-forms tracker. Click on the forms tracker. If you submitted a form to the home office and it's a corporate form, if you go to your send forms here, it will load and show you, like I did one because we had a rep term, and so it will show me, I can actually click and launch this and see, you know, what department has it. It shows the current owner. So that's a good way to check on your forms. And then of course, this is your inbox. These are things you get these in emails as well, but it's just a nice way to go and double check on some stuff. So that is the forms tracker. Let's see. Trying to think if there was anything else.
Yeah, I'm looking to see anything in the chat, but so when you guys, anything that you wanted specific, any specific list that you guys are looking for, where to find, you're not sure, anything like that we can unpack. I know, Chris, I see in the chat that you talked about CCMC products like annuities. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I don't, if you know where to find one, then tell me. So I don't, yeah, CCMC is a little bit different, than tracking for sure. All right. Well, that's really, you know, just kind of recap, you have your leads and activities platform where you can run certain lists, download, link to household, all of that. You also have Enterprise Reporting Hub with all those different reports. The main ones to unpack are your books of business. So your life, your farm, your commercial book of business. So all of those, the commercial one's pretty slick. If you haven't been in there, check that out. That's probably the latest updated one. So those are great to run lists off of. Again, the search bar, if you can't find a certain list, that, you know, you're looking, because I've been in that position before. So the search bar is always super helpful. Again, your premium commission reports, check that out, your daily updated ones. Just go into Enterprise Reporting Hub and kind of look through that. But a lot of it's going to be the cross-selling. You're usually using these lists either to try and set an appointment with clients, but it's also nice to have a reason why you're calling. So running those specific beneficiary ones, that all makes sense to do so. But again, if you get stuck, you need help, please reach out to myself or Kelly, and we'll be happy to kind of walk you through that, or your assistants as well. So thank you all for being on here. I hope you found value in it, and thank you, Kelly, for helping me out with that. I guess we're here if you need anything. Guys, have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, all.